So we're actually under the surface of the Giza Plateau. The Giza Plateau being famous for the three great pyramids, and what Yusuf Awiyan is showing me is a series of layers of tunnels and shafts that have incredible resonance. The confusing thing to most people is that they think that the dynastic Egyptians built everything, but we're seeing definite evidence that a previous culture that was technologically more advanced than the dynastic Egyptians were able to carve things like these shafts, some of them going down at minimum 100 feet, straight down, and then there are horizontal tunnels. Later on, the dynastic Egyptians came and used some of these as places of burial, but we see the obvious transformation because we see hieroglyphics and that sort of thing that the dynastic Egyptians used, but the Cometians were prior to the dynastic Egyptians, and they didn't actually require the use of hieroglyphics. It's something similar that we see in Peru in the oldest and most advanced cultures. You don't see art. You see form and function. You see beautiful surfaces, incredible technological achievement, but you don't see artistry and drawings and paintings, or even the need to put writing on the walls. It was either an oral tradition or even more advanced than that. It may have been that the initiates were in fact telepathic, and that the knowledge you wouldn't bother carving somewhere. It would simply be passed from one who had the knowledge to one who was of the level to use the knowledge, not for the general public. Simply amazing. So it's not just what's on the Giza Plateau, as in the Menkaure pyramid in the background, and these outcrops of limestone that have been shaped and were once cased in limestone, but it's what's under Giza which is as yet not understood well whatsoever. It's the series of caves and tunnels that go in. We've just literally scratched the surface of. Okay.
Okay. The same case. We're on the bottom of a well.
Uh-huh.
And it's leading to a chamber underneath here.
Right.
If you look with your camera, it's leading to another room.
Wow.
And the other room has wells that's going into the third level underneath.
Oh, so the third level is below us still.
It's below us.
Wow.
Yeah. So we took it from above.
Right.
We saw the shafts.
Uh-huh.
From the first to the second, from the second to the third, and here from the third and going down.
Uh-huh.
They locked the other room recently.
Wow.
But if we can sneak through here, we can see it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do?
That's okay.
Okay.
I think it's tea time.
Okay. But we can still look at it from the bottom here.
Okay.
Here it is. You can see that it's coming. This is the entrance from the chamber we were just looking at through the shaft.
Uh-huh.
And here is 4 shafts in one chamber.
Wow.
This one is going that direction, this one is going that direction.
Uh-huh.
This one were always buried.
Huh.
But they also meet in the underneath. So, and this is the pyramid of Khentikaus, or famous as Khentikaus.
Khentikaus.
Yes. All this area here is full of caves, and you can see how badly eroded it is. It's all connected from one to the other to the other.
Oh, yeah. So again, this is a good example of where you can see that this is this little pyramid is bedrock. And you see where the indentations are. That's where the casing stone would have been inset. No sugar, please.
No sugar at all?
Yeah. But the casing stone not only went on the surface in the pyramid shape, but it locked into the limestone, making an incredibly strong structure. Because prior to the dynastic times, these Pyramids at Giza were used for vibratory function, possible power production, as odd as it sounds. You needed to have a hyper-tight building. It wasn't done for an egotistical pharaoh who said, give me perfection. The pharaohs never built these. They inherited them.
This here contained the writings of Khentkaus here, and you can see it's not as... The writings was also added, but the important thing is the remaining 2 pieces of stone from granite and the figure in it that reminds us with the shape of the false doors as well.
Oh yeah.
This is of course the marking of the machining, because someone wanted to take a piece from this to make it a millstone.
Right. So this is where we see the original interior of this little pyramid, and this very curious material in between the pyramid itself, the core of the pyramid, and the casing stone here. It's in a direct line, seemingly, between casing stone and the pyramid itself. And this limestone is full of fossils. That's a fossil of a clamshell. And so much crystalline content, it glistens. So just to give you an indication of where we are, this is the so-called Great Pyramid. Here we have the second pyramid and the third pyramid. I no longer refer to them as Menkaure and Khafre and Khufu, because just because they were named after those pharaohs doesn't mean that those pharaohs had them constructed. These are most likely much, much older than the pharaonic Egyptians. The more that we travel through the land, especially with guidance of Yusuf Awiyan here, the more insights we're getting, which you can't find in any possible book. This is one of the deep angular shafts underneath the structure here on the Giza Plateau. Great Pyramid over there. Incredibly eroded pillars of limestone. And then a false door that clearly has been put to, it would seem to block an ancient entrance. So what is seen on the surface here is a tiny fraction of what is under not only the sand of Giza, but also inside the surface, under the surface of the bedrock here. Tunnels going at least 3 levels down. Shafts interconnecting one tunnel with the next. Hundreds of shafts. Some of them used as tombs by the later dynastic Egyptians, but many of them not. So what we, I think, are quite clearly showing you is the antiquity of this area predates common scholarship. And another good point is that people talk about the casing stones of the pyramids being torn off by later cultures for the construction of buildings in Cairo, etc. But if you look at this one, which is the middle pyramid, it's actually quite possible that a massive catastrophic event, such as an earthquake or series of earthquakes, etc., such as those which are said to have happened at the end of the Ice Age, about 12,000 years ago, may have literally caused most of the casing stones on this one, almost all of the ones on this one, and most of them on that one, to literally shake loose, or at least become so unstable that later cultures could easily come and use this site as a massive quarry. It would have been phenomenally difficult to pry the casing stones off the pyramid itself, because they are three-dimensionally, or were three-dimensionally interconnected with the core of the pyramid. They weren't simply glued on top. So even the term casing stone isn't right. It's a three-dimensional matrix of a smooth polished surface over top. In the case of that one, 2.3 million blocks of stone, some of them weighing, and I'm being conservative, in excess of tens of tons. There are so many of these shafts that have been blocked off. Of course, one reason for blocking the shafts is to keep people from going inside to plunder possible tombs. Another reason is to keep tourists from plunging to their death. Another reason would be you're trying to hide secrets. I like the fact that a massive series of shafts and tunnels exist under this complex of buildings.